because Revan was beaten but just put in enough on it, and that is the end of the game. That finishes Hampton and Richmond Borough 0, Maidstone United 3. As comprehensive a win as you'll see, Sean.
Yeah, I think the most comprehensive win on the road in the last 3 months, probably since the Tunbridge Angels Boxing Day victory for the Stones. Absolutely faultless from minute 1 to minute 90. You could probably make an argument, Darren, to say there could and should potentially have been more goals for Maidstone this afternoon. They did have the ball in the net twice before they eventually took the lead. Good work between Higgs, Leahy. You know, we said about Corn needing to be further forward. Higgs showing his prowess, getting further forward, having the ball in the net but not counting for a good 2 or 3 offsides in that first half hour or so. And you could see it was only going one way for the Stones today. And when they finally broke that duck, broke the seal, broke the dam, and got that first goal in the back of the net, the Stones were ready to rock and roll this afternoon. They really were. And yeah, absolute positive vibes. Make sure we get your clipboard out so you don't garrot anyone. But everybody side shuffling around us. Ian Tucker, we'll turn it around in a minute. I mean, he's waving at the other end of a camera.
Yeah.
He can do that if you want to.
Do you want to be on the hot take, Ian? Anyway, let's catch. Let's go.
He's waiting for his moment in the sun, is Ian. But yeah, we'll get back to the match action. Half hour in, the Stones getting frustrated at not having a goal in the net that counted. But then having those 2 goals in 3 minutes killed this game off as a contest completely, Darren, didn't it? With Leahy tucking that one in at the back post. Aweka's run.
Great work by
Huge run from Temi there to get that down the channel for Brooks to then swing that in. Like I said on the commentary, he had so little time to react there, Brooks. It was instinctive just to swing his left foot at it, got it to the back post, and Leahy managed to swing it in just like he did with Milsom in the Dorking game about 10 days, 11 days or so
but it was
ago.
It was actually Leahy that put it in this time.
Definitely his goal this time around it was. And then Aaron Blair, 3 minutes later, getting himself a few of the locals noticing the suit and giving it the chef's kiss. Very nice, thank you. 8 years in the making. And yeah, Aaron Blair just breaking 3 at the back stick. Wonderful knock on from Fowler with the flick from the ball out wide. He gets a little touch on it, gets the assist, gets one of his match stats increased. And Aaron Blair just thundered a header in at the back stick. And the Stones in the second half as well, Darren, came out with a perfect response because they came out and within 5 minutes, Blair got himself free down the left, persisted and eventually managed to beat the keeper, got around him and put the ball into an empty net.
Well,
and
I mean,
from then on it was done, wasn't it?
Wiltshire had the chance to clear, and I'm sure words will be said in the dressing room afterwards because I mean, the game was probably gone by then, but that actually sealed it. And it's kind of like, why didn't you put it into row? Well, why didn't you put it into the houses? Sorry, so this is non-league on non-league day, of course.
Yeah, put it in the garden.
Yeah, and he didn't manage to do that. And I'm actually claiming a little bit of an assist for Blair's second because I did actually manage to remark that he was working as hard as he always has, but the ball just wasn't going in for him in the 3 minutes between Lee's goal and Blair's goal. And I'm claiming commentator's curse on that one.
Well, yeah, or anti-curse if you can have such a thing, really, because... yeah, I mean, the pair of them, Leahy and Blair, I think probably contenders for man of the match. Probably Blair is the one who's going to get it because the plaudits getting the goals that really... I mean, you could probably make the argument that Leahy's goal was the one that killed it off this afternoon at 1-0, but Blair's willing and running, absolutely massive proportions. Temi Aweka, of course, as you're pointing out to me, and Ben Brooks with the assist, both instrumental in that one. But yeah, the midfield. I mean, to be fair, Darren,
great work from Seaman. Yeah, I'm pointing at names
the 11
on
and the 4 that came on. Even Lenny Holden's done well on the bench.
Teams, yeah.
You know, so it's been a fantastic. You know, from 1 to 16 who've played, everybody faultless from a Stones perspective. It's been absolutely brilliant.
And another 12-15 minutes in the Cipriano rehabilitation. Again, you know. Maybe 1 or 2 times he wasn't quite up to speed, but did a useful job on the left.
He's going to be so crucial in this run-in, though, Darren.
It's almost like a new signing, isn't it?
It almost feels
almost
that
like
way.
A new signing. Get ready way. Again.
Sorry, I'm ready. I'm braced for a bit of company. Don't worry about that. But I'm going to run through the scores from this afternoon, Darren, because I think getting a summation of where we are in the division,
that would be good. Yeah,
I think at this stage of the season we're going to need. So Dorking did win 1-0 at Boreham Wood, and it was Whelan that got sent off for Boreham Wood, a big player for Boreham Wood there, getting himself sent off. So big red card and a big 3 points lost by Boreham Wood and won by Dorking. So that keeps them in the title hunt for now against Worthing. More on them in a minute. Chippenham 1, Weymouth 0. Eastbourne Borough did win 4-0 in the end, with the biggest win of the afternoon. Stones winning 3-0 here at the Bethery, 3-0. Aveley and Hemel won a piece at Tudors at home there. Another pair of 1-alls as well. Slough and Enfield, and St Albans and Hornchurch all won a piece. Tunbridge beating Chelmsford 2-1 in, as we keep repeatedly saying, one of Jay Saunders' last matches in charge of Tunbridge Angels. You're going to keep doing that, obviously.
You're going to hear one of them on Stones Live, because the next to last game is actually at the Gallagher. Local derby, and it's going to be pretty crucial.
Yes, it's going to be their last away game of the season in the league proper, and the last home game of the league proper for the Stones. Some irony potentially of that match being there, and how crucial it could be for both sides. Certainly for Tunbridge wanting a top 10 finish. A result like that against Chelmsford is a cracking result. Fair play to them. Torquay 1, Bath 0, Truro 1, 10 men at Salisbury 0. I'll skip to Weston-super-Mare 1, Chesham 1, because that's quite crucial for the Stones. That's a final score, all finals, my love. So a 4-point gap the Stones have between 7th and 8th. So potentially, even if the Stones were to lose at Weston, as it stands currently, and if everything goes positive, they could lose there and still stay ahead of Weston in that playoff race. Don't think about doing that though, gents.
No, we want to be higher. Come on.
Exactly, and we can certainly get that way. And the most important score probably of the afternoon: Welling 2, Worthing 0, a final score in National League South. Repercussions at both ends. Aveley bottom, 6 to play. All sides, bar Hornchurch and Worthing, have 6 games to play. So 18 points on the table available for everybody. So Aveley 25, Weymouth 28. They're both realistically gone. Aveley 16 off safety with 18 to play. They're gone. Weymouth only 3, so further ahead. So 13 with 18 to play. They're gone. Welling 36. St Albans 37. They're the 4 in the drop zone. Salisbury with a 4-point gap over St Albans. Enfield 42. Bath, Hampton, Slough all on 38. You're realistically thinking they're safe, because they've got to lose all of theirs, and Welling and St Albans have got to win 5. So it's literally 2 from 4 now. I think Salisbury and Enfield looking over their shoulders at St Albans and Welling. The also-rans from 9th to 18th, frankly, are playing National League South football next season. So in 8th, it's Weston on 66. Stones opening up that 4-point gap in 7th on 70. Boreham Wood 71, who the Stones host next weekend.
That's going to be big.
That is going to be
here on Stones Live.
Gouge. Torquay and Dorking both on 74 now, so Stones 4 off of them. A further point away from Eastbourne on 75, a further point from Truro on 76, a further point from Worthing, top of the tree on 77, but that huge game in hand at Hornchurch on Tuesday night. Will they have a 1, 2 or 4-point lead going into Saturday's games at the end of the month? That's probably, I mean, it's the only game in South on Tuesday, but it's such a huge game, Darren, that, for Worthing's season and Worthing's history coming forward, frankly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that Worthing result today is big, because
Pigeon spring to mind.
Not necessarily for us, but is it the start of some kind of Worthing collapse?
But this is the thing, that's what's so strange, because we were saying it beforehand and going, oh, Worthing are gone, they're out of the way. Even if they lose their couple of games, they're still going to be top. But then you're looking at that and going, Stones are now only 7 points off of top, and we were like 10, 11, 12 points away a couple of weeks ago. And now the Stones, they've got Boreham Wood, they've got Weston-super-Mare, they've got big games head-to-head. Win against Boreham next weekend, they go up to at least 6th. They can't, next weekend it's 6th or 7th rather than 7th and 8th. So it's baby steps for the Stones, but they are getting there eventually and crawling their way up the table. But it's only going to, the biggest step is going to be the mightiest for the Stones come the end of the season in, 5 weeks' time, because it could literally be that game at Farnborough could dictate, or it will dictate, frankly, if they're still in the hunt for the playoff spots by then, God willing, then I think, it could be quite fruitful for them. And, they've really faultless this afternoon, Darren, and it's hoping
really good
for 6 more performances very similar to that for the next 6 games.
Yeah, and you must say that the rare attacks that Hampton did have were dealt with.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why people come down here. I can see why they are where they are. I mean, they've got to perhaps take a little glance over their shoulder, but I mean, they've got 6 games left, 1 win, 2 wins, and they're pretty
Even
much
a draw, frankly, might to be enough for them.
They're pretty much safe, and from what we saw today, they're well capable of that.
Definitely.
Even they can't go on shipping goals like this, keeping a clean sheet, because whatever we say about Hampton, you have to say that the Stones did really well. I mean, great finish by Leahy. Aaron Blair working just as hard as he always has, but capitalising this time. A couple of goals. And like I said in the commentary, watch that backflip from George Fowler.
Instrumental.
That just puts everybody on the wrong foot, including the keeper.
There's no point in Blair being in space at the back stick if he can't get that ball over to him. Fowler knows he's a fox in the box himself as well, with a few headed goals this season, but to be able to get that little touch, and Blair feels like he's in absolute weeks of space on that back stick, thumps it through Berry and unable to keep it out. And just, again, a top-notch performance from the Stones this afternoon, Darren. I feel like we're not really shouting anymore because we're not competing, are we? But the entire 16, even Holden, give him man of the match as well this afternoon. He's played well.
Well, yeah, all good. Everybody played their part. I can't see as the people that came on as sub are just doing a little bit of exercise under George Elokobi's tuition, and they're having Craig Fagan is talking to the circle of the rest of the players, and they're probably making some very, very important points and saying, hey lads, that was good, we like that.
More please.
Yes,
hopefully
absolutely.
Get more of that next weekend. A couple of things before we depart on the admin side. Darren and Nigel, as we've mentioned already, will be on the mic for Stones Live from 2:40 home to Boreham Wood next weekend. We'll have a preview video and podcast for you before that, as ever. And from the two of us, as usual, Darren, as always,
come on,
you Stones. There's the jazz hands. Good night. Safe travels all.